You've been told all your life that intimacy just naturally becomes uncomfortable after 50, that dryness, irritation, and even pain are things you simply have to learn to live with. Doctors may hand you hormones, expensive creams, or synthetic lubricants that only mask the problem for a moment before leaving you frustrated again. But what if I told you that the very solution to restoring comfort, moisture, and pleasure may already be sitting in your kitchen cabinet? And no, it's not estrogen. It's not a drug. It's not some overpriced bottle with fancy branding. It's a natural oil that science has quietly confirmed can transform your intimate life. Today I'll reveal what this oil is, why it works, and exactly how you can use it safely and effectively. Let's start with the truth most women never hear. Vaginal dryness is not just about aging. It's not simply because you're older now. The real culprit is a dramatic shift in how your body produces and maintains natural lubrication. Before menopause, estrogen keeps the vaginal lining thick, elastic, and well supplied with blood vessels. Estrogen signals cells in the vaginal wall to produce glycogen, which feeds healthy lactobacillus bacteria. These bacteria create lactic acid, keeping the environment slightly acidic. That acidity protects against infections while also maintaining proper hydration and lubrication. But once estrogen levels plummet in perimenopause and menopause, the cascade of changes begins. The vaginal lining thins. The blood flow reduces. The glands produce less lubrication. The pH becomes less acidic, leading to dryness and irritation. Over time, the tissue loses elasticity, a condition called vaginal atrophy. For many women, intimacy becomes painful, sometimes unbearable. The emotional toll is just as heavy as the physical. You may start avoiding closeness, not because you've lost desire, but because the discomfort outweighs the pleasure. Here's where the natural oil comes in. While estrogen replacement may restore some of those functions, not everyone can or wants to use hormones. The beauty of certain plant-based oils is that they bypass the hormonal pathway entirely. Instead, they directly nourish and protect the tissue, reinforcing moisture, elasticity, and comfort at the cellular level. One oil in particular, cold-pressed coconut oil, has been gaining attention for its remarkable ability to restore intimate comfort. Now, you may be thinking, coconut oil. Isn't that just for cooking or hair masks? And this is where most people underestimate its power. Coconut oil is rich in medium-chain fatty acids, particularly lauric acid, caprylic acid, and capric acid. These compounds have antimicrobial, antifungal, and anti-inflammatory properties. That means coconut oil not only moisturizes, but also protects against infections like yeast overgrowth, which often worsen in postmenopausal women due to higher vaginal pH. Unlike many water-based lubricants that evaporate quickly and often contain irritating chemicals, coconut oil provides long-lasting hydration, soaking into the tissue and replenishing lipids that keep cells supple. In fact, one clinical study found that women who used coconut oil intravaginally experienced measurable improvement in moisture levels, elasticity, and overall comfort. Another observational report noted that coconut oil was just as effective, if not more so, than many over-the-counter lubricants, with none of the synthetic additives. Even better, its natural antimicrobial properties reduce the risk of bacterial imbalance, a common hidden cause of itching and irritation. But before I walk you through exactly how to use it, let's dig deeper into why it works so well at the cellular level. The vaginal tissue is lined with stratified squamous epithelium, similar to the skin, but more delicate. With age, the lipid layer that protects these cells weakens. Coconut oil restores that lipid barrier, preventing water loss. Think of it as sealing in the natural hydration that your body still produces, even if in smaller amounts. When absorbed, the medium-chain triglycerides are metabolized into monoglycerides that protect against microbial invaders. Exactly what you need when your natural defenses weaken post-menopause. Now, here's where most women go wrong. They try to fix dryness with water-based lubricants alone. These give a slick feeling for a few minutes, but evaporate quickly, leaving the tissue even drier than before. Worse, many contain glycerin, parabens, and other ingredients that can irritate sensitive tissue or feed harmful bacteria. Oils like coconut, on the other hand, bond with the tissue. They don't just sit on the surface, they absorb, replenish, and heal. Imagine this. Instead of bracing yourself for pain or reaching for an expensive tube that burns after 10 minutes, you begin to feel a natural suppleness return. The kind of ease you thought was gone forever. That's the transformation this simple oil can bring. But I want you to stay with me, because coconut oil is not the only one worth knowing. Later in this video, I'll reveal another natural oil that may be even more powerful. And it's often overlooked, even though ancient traditions have used it for centuries, specifically for women's health. But here's the mistake most women make. They only contract. They forget to fully relax. The release is just as important as the squeeze because it allows fresh blood to flow back into the tissue. Think of it like wringing out a sponge and then letting it refill with water. With every cycle of squeeze and release, you're pulling fresh circulation into the pelvic floor. Now imagine pairing that with coconut oil treatments. You're not just coating tissue from the outside, you're feeding it from the inside by improving blood flow. Women who commit to both practices often report dramatic changes. Dryness decreases, pleasure increases, and discomfort fades. But circulation isn't just about the pelvic floor. Another habit that makes a huge difference is walking. Yes, as simple as walking. Aerobic activity boosts blood flow everywhere, but the rhythmic movement of your hips during walking specifically stimulates circulation to the pelvic region. Just 20 minutes of brisk walking 4 times a week is enough to make a measurable difference in vaginal health. So here's your action plan so far. Use coconut oil 3 to 4 times a week, ideally before bed. Practice pelvic floor activation daily for at least 5 minutes. Walk regularly to keep circulation alive. Now let's talk about the second oil. The one that has been used for centuries in women's health, but often gets overlooked in modern discussions. This oil is almond oil. Almond oil has been prized in Ayurveda and Mediterranean traditions for its soothing, healing, and rejuvenating qualities. Unlike coconut oil, which is solid at room temperature, almond oil is liquid, light, and easily absorbed. What makes it especially valuable for intimacy after 50 is its high content of vitamin E. Vitamin E is a powerful antioxidant that protects and repairs tissue at the cellular level. When applied to delicate areas, it reduces microtears, improves elasticity, and encourages healing of any small irritations. For women experiencing thinning vaginal walls, almond oil can be profoundly soothing. It doesn't just moisturize, it actively helps tissue recover. Let's dig deeper into how it works. As estrogen declines, the vaginal wall loses collagen and elastin, 2 proteins that keep it supple and stretchable. Without them, the tissue feels tight, fragile, and prone to tearing. Vitamin E in almond oil stimulates fibroblasts, the cells responsible for producing collagen, helping to slow down and even partially reverse this loss. That means regular use of almond oil can restore flexibility, making intimacy far more comfortable. There's more. Almond oil also contains oleic acid, a monounsaturated fatty acid that helps reinforce the lipid barrier of skin and mucous membranes. This barrier is like a shield. It prevents water from evaporating, keeping hydration locked in. That's why almond oil doesn't just feel smooth when applied, it creates lasting comfort. But what truly sets almond oil apart is how gentle it is. For women with sensitive skin who find coconut oil too heavy or irritating, almond oil is often the perfect alternative. Its hypoallergenic nature makes it safe for most people, even those prone to eczema or allergies. Here's how to use it. Choose cold-pressed, pure almond oil, not the perfumed versions used in massage blends. Apply a few drops externally to the vulva, massaging it in gently. For internal use, dip a clean finger or a sterile applicator into the oil and apply a small amount to the vaginal walls. Some women also use vitamin E capsules, puncturing one and squeezing the oil inside, but almond oil is often more practical for regular use. Now, you might be wondering, which one should I use, coconut or almond? The truth is, you don't have to choose. In fact, alternating between the two gives you the best of both worlds. Coconut oil excels in its antimicrobial protection and long-lasting hydration. Almond oil shines in its tissue-repairing and elasticity-boosting qualities. By rotating them, you ensure your body gets a full spectrum of benefits. But here's something fascinating. In traditional medicine, almond oil wasn't just used for moisture. It was also considered an aphrodisiac, believed to awaken sensual energy in women. While modern science may not phrase it that way, the increased elasticity, reduced discomfort, and improved sensitivity speak for themselves. In other words, this isn't just about making intimacy possible again, it's about making it pleasurable again. Let me paint a picture. Imagine preparing for an intimate evening with your partner. Instead of anxiety or dread about dryness and pain, you've already nourished your body with almond oil treatments during the week. Your tissue feels soft, elastic, alive. The moment no longer carries fear. It carries anticipation. That's the difference this oil can make. But don't leave just yet, because I promised you a third oil, one that very few women know about, yet research and centuries of tradition suggest may be the most powerful of all. It's not in every kitchen. You might not even have heard of it. But when I reveal it, you'll understand why it has been called liquid gold for women's intimate health. Before we get there, let's address one more critical piece of the puzzle: pH balance. Remember earlier I told you that estrogen loss changes vaginal pH, making it less acidic and more prone to infections. Well, the oils we've discussed so far, coconut and almond, help restore hydration, but they don't directly fix pH. The third oil, however, has properties that not only moisturize and heal, but also support the right environment for healthy bacteria to thrive. And that's why it's worth waiting for. Native to Morocco and extracted from the kernels of the argan tree, this oil has been treasured for centuries for its ability to rejuvenate skin, hair, and even internal health. But what's often overlooked is just how effective argan oil can be for intimate comfort, especially for women over 50. Here's why. Argan oil is loaded with essential fatty acids, particularly linoleic acid and oleic acid, along with one of the highest natural concentrations of vitamin E of any plant oil. This unique combination makes it a powerhouse for repairing delicate tissue, improving elasticity, and most importantly, restoring balance to the vaginal environment. Let's break this down. Linoleic acid is an omega-6 fatty acid that plays a key role in the structure of cell membranes. When applied to the vaginal lining, it helps rebuild and strengthen weakened cells, making the tissue more resilient. Oleic acid, on the other hand, penetrates deeply, delivering moisture where it's needed most. Together, they act like scaffolding and cement, one repairing the structure, the other sealing and hydration. But what truly sets argan oil apart is its effect on pH balance. Studies show that argan oil has mild antimicrobial properties while supporting the growth of beneficial bacteria. That means it doesn't just moisturize, it helps restore the acidic environment that keeps harmful microbes at bay. For women struggling with recurrent infections, bacterial vaginosis, yeast overgrowth, or general irritation, this can be life-changing. And then there's the vitamin E factor. Remember how I mentioned almond oil is rich in vitamin E? Argan oil contains even more. Vitamin E isn't just an antioxidant. It's a direct repair agent for damaged mucosal tissue. When applied regularly, it reduces inflammation, heals microtears, and strengthens the tissue against future irritation. Now let's talk about sensation. One reason many women lose interest in intimacy after 50 is not just dryness, but reduced sensitivity. This is due in part to decreased blood flow and nerve responsiveness. Argan oil's high antioxidant load reduces oxidative stress in nerve endings, allowing them to remain more responsive. In plain language, using argan oil may help restore sensitivity, making touch feel pleasurable again instead of dull or painful. Here's how to use it. As with the others, purity is everything. Only choose cold-pressed, 100% pure argan oil, ideally organic. Many cosmetic brands dilute argan oil with cheaper oils, which won't give you the same benefit. Apply a few drops externally to the vulva, massaging gently in circular motions. For internal application, you can use a sterile dropper to place 2 to 3 drops directly inside the vagina before bed. Because argan oil is thinner and more penetrating than coconut oil, you don't need large amounts. A little goes a long way. Now let me show you how to combine these 3 oils into a routine that works synergistically. Think of them as a rotation, each offering unique benefits. Coconut oil, best for long-lasting hydration and antimicrobial protection. Use 3 to 4 times a week. Almond oil, best for elasticity, soothing irritation, and repairing fragile tissue. Use 2 to 3 times a week, especially after intimacy. Argan oil, best for restoring balance, healing, and enhancing sensitivity. Use 2 to 3 times a week, ideally at night for deep absorption. You don't have to apply all 3 every day. Instead, rotate them. For example, coconut oil on Monday, almond oil on Wednesday, argan oil on Friday. Adjust based on your body's response. The goal is to keep your tissue continuously nourished, hydrated, and balanced without overwhelming it. And here's something important. These oils are not just surface treatments. Over weeks and months of consistent use, they transform the health of your vaginal tissue. The cells regenerate more effectively. The elasticity returns. The pH stabilizes. It's like slowly watering a plant that has been left in dry soil. Little by little, life comes back. But let's address the skepticism head on. You might be wondering, if this is so effective, why don't more doctors talk about it? The answer is simple. Natural oils can't be patented. Pharmaceutical companies can't profit the same way they do with prescription creams. That's why the conversation is often dominated by synthetic hormones and lubricants. But women who've turned to these natural oils often find they finally get relief without side effects. There's another question I know you're asking in the back of your mind. Can I use these oils together? The answer is yes. And in fact, one of the most powerful approaches is to blend them. Imagine creating your own intimate serum. Equal parts coconut, almond, and argan oil stored in a small glass dropper bottle. Shake before use. This blend delivers hydration, elasticity, and healing in one application. Use a few drops nightly for maintenance, or more liberally before intimacy for comfort and pleasure. And here's a bonus tip. If you want to maximize absorption, apply your chosen oil or blend immediately after a warm shower or bath. Warmth dilates blood vessels and opens pores, allowing the oil to penetrate more deeply. This simple timing trick can double the effectiveness of your routine. But oils alone are not the whole story. Remember, your body is a system. Hydration, circulation, and tissue health are all connected to what you eat, how you move, and even how you manage stress. That's why, in the next section, I'll show you the foods and nutrients that work hand in hand with these oils, amplifying their effects from the inside out. I'll also reveal one surprising spice, found in almost every kitchen, that boosts blood flow to the pelvic region and makes intimacy feel alive again. We've now covered 3 natural oils that can change your intimate comfort forever. But here's the truth no one tells you. What you put inside your body is just as important as what you apply outside. If your tissues are dry, fragile, and slow to repair, it's not just a surface problem. It's a sign that your body lacks the raw materials it needs to regenerate. That's why the right foods and nutrients can make the difference between seeing small improvements and experiencing a full transformation. Let's start with hydration. It sounds simple, but most women underestimate how much water they actually need. Vaginal tissue, like every other mucous membrane, depends on systemic hydration. If your body is dehydrated, no amount of external oil will fully restore comfort. Aim for at least 2 liters of water daily. But here's the key. Don't just drink plain water. Add electrolytes, sodium, potassium, and magnesium to help your cells actually retain that water. A pinch of sea salt in your water bottle or eating potassium-rich foods like bananas, avocados, and leafy greens can help hydration reach your tissues where it matters. Now, let's talk about fats. Because yes, eating the right fats directly improves your body's ability to produce natural lubrication. Omega-3 fatty acids found in salmon, sardines, flax seeds, and chia seeds are particularly powerful. They reduce inflammation, improve circulation, and help maintain the lipid layer in vaginal tissue. Without these fats, your body struggles to produce supple, well-hydrated cells. Collagen is another nutrient that deserves attention. Remember how we talked about collagen loss in the vaginal walls after menopause? Supplementing with hydrolyzed collagen or bone broth can help restore elasticity from within. Several studies show that collagen peptides improve skin hydration and elasticity. And while these studies focus on skin, the same principles apply to mucosal tissue. But here's something you might not expect. One of the most important nutrients for intimacy after 50 is zinc. Zinc is essential for tissue repair and for maintaining healthy mucous membranes. Deficiency leads to dryness, delayed healing, and reduced sensitivity. Foods like pumpkin seeds, oysters, chickpeas, and cashews are excellent sources. Now let me reveal the spice I promised you. This spice has been hiding in your kitchen all along, yet it has the power to dramatically increase pelvic blood flow and awaken sensitivity. That spice is cinnamon. Yes, cinnamon. The same spice you sprinkle on oatmeal or add to baked goods. Here's why it works. Cinnamon contains cinnamaldehyde, a compound that naturally dilates blood vessels and improves circulation. When blood vessels open, more oxygen and nutrients flow into tissues, including the pelvic region. This not only enhances lubrication, but also amplifies arousal and sensitivity. So here's your challenge. Tonight, pick one action. Maybe it's applying coconut oil before bed. Maybe it's sitting quietly for 5 minutes, practicing pelvic floor breathing. Maybe it's putting cinnamon in your tea tomorrow morning. Choose one, then build from there. Because this isn't just about comfort during intimacy. It's about reclaiming your vitality. It's about saying, my body still matters, my pleasure still matters, my relationship still matters. And so, let's end with this vision. Imagine 6 weeks from now, you've followed the plan, you've used the oils, you've nourished your body, and you've managed your stress. You notice the dryness is fading. You feel supple, elastic, alive again. You look forward to closeness, not with dread, but with confidence. You laugh more. You smile more. You feel like yourself again. Not the younger version, but the wiser, radiant version who knows that pleasure has no age limit. So don't wait. Tonight, take that first step. Your body, your intimacy, your joy, they're all waiting for you to say yes.